This is Vermont Educational Television, and it is time now for the Vermont Report for this Wednesday, January 11th, 1978. Good evening, everybody. I'm Peter Wiggins. That is what's happening. In St. Albans Town, some friends and relatives of inmates at the St. Albans Correctional Center are upset over strip search practices conducted by prison officials. Mrs. Carolyn Hamill, a 31-year-old female, filed a child abuse complaint with the Social and Rehabilitative Services yesterday against correctional officials because of an incident involving her 5-year-old daughter and herself at the prison last weekend. Mrs. Hamill said she was strip searched over the weekend before being allowed to visit her husband, 30-year-old Larry Hamill, who was serving time for a parole violation. She said her husband was convicted of an armed robbery. How would you like it if you had to bend over naked and have someone shine a flashlight in her genitals, said Mrs. Hamill. She's also a man over who conducts the strip searches. They use anybody, she said, even the cook is about to do it. Mrs. Hamill said her 5-year-old daughter was also subject to a strip search over the weekend, and the result doesn't want to return. She said, I don't want to be daddy anymore, said Ms. Hamill about her 5-year-old being strip searched to her reaction. Richard Basho, who is the superintendent of the Newtown Road Prison, said he orders strip searches when he obtains orders. A proposal offered was by the St. Albans Town Representative Richard Allard to provide low-interest loans for new business to low-income Vermonters has been included in Governor Richard Snell's budget message delivered today. The proposal would provide state loans up to $2,500 at low interest rates to Vermonters unable to obtain business loans from other sources. Allard said this morning is pleased to the governor included in the measure in his budget package. Montpelier, Vermont, urging the legislature to take prudent advantage of the Vermont's prosperity. Governor Richard Snell today proposed $30 million in a new state spending on nearly every area of state government, including in the governor's proposal were $8.5 million for the state teachers retirement fund, a $3.2 million increase in the state aid to education, $2.5 million for the repair and bridges for the town's highways, and a $2.4 million pay increase for state employees. Snell's budget message delivered to a joint session of the legislature came in two parts. Recommendation for spending a one-time $21 million revenue surplus from 1977 and proposals for an increase in the fiscal 1979 budget by $12 million. He began by reiterating his proposal for income tax cuts would only reduce the 1977 surplus by $3 million. Then the governor has noted that past legislatures have to cope with failing revenues and noted the question we now ask ourselves is, can we face with unity the problems of opportunity as we face this of adversity? Recommend good expenditures for Vermont knowing full. St. Albans Community Development Office is geared toward direct efforts toward providing housing in the city and strengthening code enforcement. The office conducted a second meeting Tuesday to gather public input on which directions community development efforts should take this year. Community Director Vincent Ferno said city residents are voicing their increasing concern over availability of housing for low and moderate income residents. Housing concerns have deepened after the loss of more than 20 units due to the fires in the past week. St. Albans City has taken a declaration on a disaster area from Governor Richard Snell in the wake of 2 fires in less than a week, which shut down a considerable amount of the Lake Street housing. 6 apartments in one building and 16 in another were closing in fires. 2 persons died in a blaze early Monday, which whipped at the 16 apartment Tellier block at 40 Lake Street. There were 3 businesses also were destroyed in that blaze. Housing has been provided for some of the occupants of the destroyed building, but more housing units are needed. Officials indicate 28 people were housed in the Tellier block when the fire broke out. St. Albans Fire Department and Vermont State Police continue their investigation into the Monday morning fire today. Ferno said he plans to get in touch with federal housing and urban development officials to see if any emergency assistance can be provided for those left homeless as a result of the fires at the Tellier block at 1113 Lake Street at structure owned by E.J. Daggy. The overall need of the St. Albans appears to be for new and rehabilitated housing units, Farso said. Owners of the whole grade natural food store at the Scripture Center were cleared out the rain that heavily damaged its inventories yesterday afternoon as the Monday Lake Street fire at the Tellier block apartment schools left 2 dead and many homeless destroyed their 3 business establishments in addition to the 2 mentioned above. The Italy Yard plans the Italy Yard Pizza Parlor was heavily damaged. Owners of the natural food store and the Scripture Center each said they would be relocated to the city as soon as possible.
This is my 20th enshrinement ceremonies here at the professional football.
Montpelier, Vermont.
And I can tell you,
The Employment Security Department considered today that the weekly jobless statistics that has been distributed for years did not accurately and accurately reflect the state's unemployment picture and in effect were misleading. Therefore, DES Commissioner Joseph Keir said that the informant had been discontinued and then replaced with a news release given in a volume but not percentages on unemployment claims. The DES has traditionally released figures showing that the percentage of the insured workforce that filed claims for benefits. Those figures, however, did not include workers who were not eligible for unemployment compensation, that such as farm workers who were exhausted their benefits. We felt for some time that the weekly insured unemployment rates are not useful in accurately depicting the state's total employment and unemployment situation. Keir said in news release when said that the DES will release the weekly volume of the jobless claims filed for the previous week. While this is not more representative of the total labor force than in the insured unemployment. Opposition called for the parking ban for Upper Newton Street east of the Messenger Street, signed by 62 members of the Franklin County Senior Center, has been tabled by the St. Albans City Council. Senior citizens also asked there will be no parking on the north side of the street from the Messenger Street to the driveway to the Senior Center. City Manager Joseph Andresini said that no action will be taken on the petition he recommended. W.J. Chafee,
Shakespeare's line, he is.
Representative Senior told the council vehicles parking on the north side of the street causes problems for the buses and vehicles going in and out of the Senior Center driveway. Property owners on the other side of the Upper Newton Street objected to the parking bed request. Councilman David Hill moved to the Senior's petition to be accepted, and Councilman Floyd Headley, yes. Chafee, if the Senior Center would provide 3 parking places for the lots for the vehicles, which would displace by closing the street to park it. Chafee was uncertain. Mayor Mervyn Kidd Kay asked the Seniors would object to the construction of the driveway from the Messenger Street to the center parking lot. Chafee indicated that he feels that the driveway might solve the problem. Headley moved. Memory reads tabled that the council approved. St. Albans City Council gets into its full-scale budgeted first full one into this year, Thursday night, beginning at 7:30 p.m. City Manager Joseph Andresini said he believes that the council will be able to wrap up its budget preparation work for the sessions on Thursday, Saturday, January 17th, and January 19th. Andresini said that they virtually completed preliminary budget preparation work with city departments. 2 drivers escaped injury Tuesday at a crash at the intersection of Vermont 36 and 104 in St. Albans Sound. The Vermont State Police said vehicles are revived. Kevin Collins, 27, and Enosburg and David O'Neill, 48, of Plainfield, sustained about $59 in the damage in the crash. Middlesex, Vermont, it happens every year, but the barrels any. That say it's never been this bad before. The Winooski River overflowed this week as it has for years, flooding the nearby countryside and driving families who live along its banks to higher ground.
Always about matchups in playoff football, and you got to start with the Colts and their wife.
We're going to have to hear at least 3 days. Dan Barrows, whose mobile home was flooded by 4 feet of water after an unseasonable fall, said Tuesday. Barrows, 23, said his wife and the baby fled up the hill to his parents' home on Monday when he asked him where it began to rise. When he returned his trailer for supplies, he said a gush of water came up and he said he only had to swim back to his parents' house. The fall flooded the roads in the meadow near the 2 Barrows families, but an elderly couple with no phone and 3 other families living in a mobile home. It looks like a lake across the field. You can't even see their mailboxes, Barrows said. Tuesday, fireman Jeffrey Harvey out those who fought the woods on a life mission, bringing food to the stranded families and including the special milk for the Barrows' sick baby. Barrows said this 4-month-old baby girl had stomach problems and can only drink fat-free milk until Harvard. Alright, they fed her sugar and water, he said. You could say we went on the life mission, said State Civil Defense Director Richard Holmes. Barrows said it is. However, David Push fought the water, which it topped to a water with 3 inches of ice first. 45 minutes on Tuesday morning to rescue their 18-year-old deaf and blind dog, which had run from the house into the icy waters. We just about froze to death. He said the dog is all right, but Sheriff Barrows said.
Let's go to our coach and get your.
Middlesex Fire Chief David Newell said Harvey also checked that Mr. and Mrs. Elberly to make sure they were safe. Please that every family was well okay. St. Albans City Council went on a record sword of a resolution introduced in this legislature favoring and study of a construction of a maximum security penetrating the Waterbury and eliminating the St. Albans Correctional Facility as maximum security unit. Senator Thomas Crowley of Chittenden County is proposing for the new facility. He told the council filed that later. I have a letter to Mayor Mervyn Ken K. Sr.
He neutralized and disrupt that passing game.
St. Albans had been taken for a ride by the prominent corrections officials who gradually converted the youthful vendors facility here to one of the maximum security. Councilman Floyd Handy proposed that the city boycott providing any service for the correctional facility for St. Albans. Handy claimed city police officers were providing transportation for the inmates of the center. City manager Joseph Andresini denied the claim. He said to the council the department provides security for the two city hospitals when they receive inmates from the facility and at times provides escorts for the corrections department vehicles passing past the city carrying inmates, but has never provided transportation for the inmates. Councilman Charles Rich proposed that the council's support for Senator Charles. The Senator Crowley resolution but recommended that the study time for a legislature committee look into the proposal to be shortened from 1 year to a 6 month and then hold to be placed on construction of any maximum security units at the new correctional centers until study is completed. Washington, a major new government campaign to get America to kick the smoking habit was announced today by Health, Education and Welfare Secretary Joseph Califano. The announcement came out on the 14th anniversary of the report by U.S. Surgeon General, which first gave widespread attention to the link between smoking and health problems such as cancer. Research since the '64 report has proven that smoking is even more dangerous than we originally believed. Califano said a speech prepared for the National Interagency Council on Smoking and Health. The Tobacco Institute accused Califano Tuesday of launching an unfair, misleading campaign, but Califano said facts not available made it clear that people who smoke are committing slow motion suicide. Those were ignore those facts that are so those are the most dangerous kind of wishful thinking they are. Quite literally, Wilson passed the cemetery in their search for a way to rationalize the habit that has become a dangerous dependency, said Califano, a former 3-pack-a-day smoker. The new program involves publication, regulation, research, and main objective is persuading young people not to smoke, Califano said. He said it was appropriate that his agency has the strongest smoking policy in government, and he outlined several smoking restrictions for HEW workers. He said separate work areas will be provided with practical limits for smokers and newsmakers. A task force will study possible incentives for non-smoking, including okay, on the weather. Partly sunny, windy, and cold today. Scattered flurries has in the teens. Clear mission winds and cold tonight. Lows 0 to 10 below. Thursday, sunny, podcast skies high near 20 degrees. Increase with snow likely late Friday and Saturday. Windy with flurries on Sunday. Highs temperatures mainly in the upper teens and 20s. Low about 5 to 15. Right now, around the region, around the state, it is 13 out in Burlington, 12 in Montpelier, 21 in Lebanon, New Hampshire, 23 in Keene, New Hampshire, and 15 up in Plattsburgh. That's me for the Vermont Report on this January 11th, 1978 on a Wednesday. P. Wizard, be a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
That ends the game on a penalty, a 10-second runoff.